Sage Wanderer here, and welcome to the sheep pen, bah, where no goats are allowed. So today I want to talk about disarming demons. Many of you know that one of the bases of my doctrinal theology here on this channel is that there are two kingdoms locked in an internal battle with one another, that there's an unseen war going on for control of this planet and all the people on it. And this war wages not just in politics, not just in religion, not just in culture, but in the hearts of each and every one of us on a daily basis. We understand that we battle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers of wickedness in high places. And that we battle in our own thoughts and in our own lives and in our own daily pursuits to make the right decision, to choose the path of light, to shun darkness, and to embrace love. And there is an army of demons that have assignments against you. They're organized, they're highly intelligent, they're extremely knowledgeable, and they've targeted you. So how do we disarm these demons? How do we deal with the target on our back? How do we make sure that we don't fall into deception, wreck, and ruin? Well, there's an old saying that my dad, the preacher, the old Marine, as I've called him, he was a Marine first and then became a preacher. And he used to say something. He'd say, "Son, don't give the devil a stick to beat you with." And so oftentimes we arm the enemy. We put the weapons of war in their hands by our own decisions, by our own actions, and by the things that we allow ourselves. And so I want to talk about disarming demons, taking away that stick that they use to beat you with. You know, I preach primarily on Jesus here, but occasionally I talk about things that Paul said, and I would like to talk about something that Paul said, and I believe it was Paul that said, "The devil's like a roaring lion roaming to and fro, seeking whom he may devour." There's a preamble to that I often leave out and others leave out as well. But it starts that phrase with, "Be sober and vigilant." Vigilant. Be sober and vigilant. You know, vigilance is keeping watch. Vigilance is always being in a position of what gun people call situational awareness, right? So sober obviously is not just not being drunken or intoxicated, but soberness is a seriousness, right? Be serious and vigilant, because the devil is like a roaring lion roaming to and fro, seeking whom he may devour. So the devil and his demons, they seek to devour us. And this example is given to us to show us how the devil works and how his demon army works. And they work and hunt like lions. So does a lion go after the strongest of the herd? No. Do lions go after the bulk of the herd, the pack? No. They hunt on the fringe. They roar and they cause a spirit of fear to fall onto the herd. And as the herd runs away, it exposes its weaknesses. So another saying on this channel is faith and fear cannot exist in the same place. That the fear of the demonic is one of its strongest powers. The devil seeks to make us afraid of mistakes, afraid of traps. And I'm not talking about being afraid here. I'm talking about being aware, being vigilant, being on guard. Not the same as fear, okay? So lions hunt by separating the herd and exposing its weaknesses. The lions go after the old. They go after the weak. They go after the ones that have wandered away from the pack. They are hunters of, what's the word I'm looking for? Opportunity. They're hunters of opportunity. They create opportunity. So this discussion is about taking away the devil's opportunities. I'll give you an example, case in point. Many of you know that I've been helping a young man who found himself on the wrong side of the law. And that's why I missed my Wednesday service. I was in court with him all day. And I spent the evening with him, kind of counseling with him as well. So it took up my time. And it's not coffee talk, it's just early morning. I want some coffee. But he gave the devil a stick to beat him with. The first mistake he made is being a person who partakes in the use of cannabis in a state where to get a medical card is a super easy thing. This is the easiest state, in my opinion, to get a medical marijuana card and to be 100% legal. That way, you're not vulnerable. You're not making yourself vulnerable. You're not giving the devil a stick to beat you with, right? And so anybody can get a card. All you got to do is say, hey, I have anxiety, right? Or I have pain. And boom, you're legal, right? $100-something and a little bit of your time. And you no longer have this hanging over your head. So, but this young man didn't do this. He thought he could get away with it. He thought he could live in that world and participate in that behavior illegally, and it would never come around to get him. Because you know what? In Oklahoma, there's a pot dispensary on every street corner. There's, it's everywhere. The smell of pot wafts down the road. And that can make you think that you're not vulnerable, right? But he gave the devil a stick to beat him with. He was engaging in this illegally. And then he did another thing. He confessed to something that wasn't his. When they did get caught, they, being a group of people he was with, got caught, somebody else was holding and not him. And when it was discovered, he took credit for it to save someone else, which can seem on the surface like an admirable thing to do. But he learned this lesson the hard way. He did end up taking a conviction, but because of my intervention, because of my articulate speech, because I know how to talk to a judge and he doesn't, right? I was able to help him get his medical card before going into court, and they offered him a plea deal. He still had to take a hit. He's convicted of possession, but he didn't go to jail. He could have gone to jail for a year, had up to $1,000 fine plus court fees, and he ended up getting away with a small fine, no probation, and just a mark on his record. So he stayed out of jail. But he put himself in that position because he didn't do the simple thing of becoming legal, right? So staying on the right side of the law, staying on the right side of things, staying righteous or right is one of the best ways to disarm the devil. When you do things that are unrighteous, that are on the wrong side of the law, when you push the limit, when you think you're going to get away with something forever, eventually you'll get hit with the ball bat because you've given the devil a stick to beat you with. Now, there's lots of ways to give the devil a stick to beat you with. Some people play with addictions. They think, okay, I might have had a drinking problem in the past, but I can drink a little bit. And when you do that, when you ignore the fact that you had a problem in the past, when you ignore the fact that you're susceptible to addiction and you play games with the devil, you're giving demons a stick to beat you with. And so many people get caught in that trap. You know, my dad used to explain it this way. It's like there's a line in the sand and you're standing on the edge of this line between good and evil and you're kicking the rock, right? You're kicking rocks over the edge. You're spitting over the cliff, right? You're toying with the dark side. Another devil stick that often gets deployed against us, many times we give the devil a stick to beat us with by playing around with the occult. You can't dance with the devil. The devil always leads, right? You will always follow. You can't play games with the demonic. You can't toy in witchcraft. You can't mess around with things that are energies that are opposed to God. And oftentimes we do this. And we do it out of a sense of self-deception. Oh, I'm strong enough. Oh, I can do that and be okay. But all you're doing is arming demons with something to beat you with. They're looking for any crack in your defenses. They're looking for any weakness, any door left open, any window left unlocked, any place that they can get into your situation and cause destruction in your life. Another another stick the devil uses to beat us with another weapon we arm the devil with is lack of emotional control. You know, part of being sober and vigilant is being in control of your emotions. And I talk about this a lot. Anger management. You know, if you have an anger problem and you think, oh, I can handle it. Oh, I don't have to address this. No, you need to address it. You need to disarm the demon. You can be going along just fine, and the devil can push a button on you. And the next thing you're doing is the next thing's happening is you're making decisions, you're taking action, you're doing things that are out of character for you for the most part. You're giving into this lack of emotional control. Lack of emotional control is one of the biggest bats that we give the devil, one of the biggest weapons we arm him with. And you have control over your emotions. It's a demonic deception to say that you don't. Getting angry is a decision. Taking up an offense is a decision. Losing your emotional control is a decision. It's you not being sober, not being vigilant, not being on guard. You have to carefully guard your peace. You have to protect it. You have to build this defensive network around your peace. Don't let people into your situation, into your life, that disrupt your peace. You know, you get to choose who you hang around with. You get to choose who you interact with, just like you can choose to walk away or engage in combat with someone. It's a choice. You know, this entire life, this thing we call life, where you're at this point in life is a culmination, a compilation of every single decision you've ever made. That you can't blame anybody else for your situation. You're in your situation because you chose to be here. You chose to lose control. You chose to take chances. You chose to get on the wrong side of the law. You chose to toy around with addictions. You chose to mess around with the occult. You chose to do things that you were morally not justified to do. You know, another stick we give the devil to beat us with, another way we arm the enemy, is by breaking our own ethical line. Everybody has an ethical line. This channel isn't about forcing you to decide where your ethical line is. This channel is about encouraging you to defend whatever line you draw, whatever limitations you place on yourself, whatever that is, whether that's morality, whatever it is. Your attitudes towards money, your attitude towards sex, your attitude towards conflict. All of these have an ethical line. Everybody's got them. And one of the biggest tools the devil has against us is when we cross our own ethical line. It puts us on the wrong side of ourselves. In every time you cross your ethical line, every time you do something that you know isn't right, something you've decided already that you shouldn't do, whenever you compromise that, you are arming the devil. It gives him rights over you. You know, demons are lawyers. They don't do anything unless they have the legal right to do it. And the thing is, people don't realize that our actions, our decisions, our mistakes arm the enemy. We give them legal right to attack us. And the devil can attack your health. He can attack your finances. He can attack your relationships. He can attack your mental stability. He can attack your home, your family, your friends. And he never does that without your permission. And the various ways we give him permission are these weapons that I'm talking about. We literally arm the demons with weapons when we break our own ethical lines, when we engage in things we consider unrighteous, when we break laws we know we shouldn't, when we spend money we know we shouldn't spend. You know, emotional control isn't just about controlling anger. It's about controlling urges of all kinds. And part of that is controlling these urges, controlling these things that make us make mistakes in life. It's about recognizing temptation. One of the things the devil does, the primary thing that demons do, is they tempt you. They tempt you to lose your temper. They tempt you to engage in sexual behavior you shouldn't. They tempt you into escaping your problems through drugs and alcohol. They tempt you to take the easy way out when the hard way is the right way. Nothing good is ever easy, and nothing easy is ever good. And so the devil, demons, are constantly dangling the easy way out for you. right? Recognizing temptation is one of the key ways that we can avoid demonic traps, that we can avoid arming demons and making ourselves accessible to them. That you have to recognize when you're being baited. Recognize when the demons are working on another person, trying to get you to cross your ethical lines concerning your anger, concerning your wrath, concerning your finances, concerning your sexuality, concerning your relationship with addictions and substances. The devil gets control. Demons get control of other people. And they use that control over other people to pull you into demonic traps. So some of the best ways to avoid this is through soberness and vigilance. And when I say sober, I mean seriousness. You need to seriously guard your faith, seriously guard your heart, seriously guard your peace, seriously guard your mental stability. You need to be vigilant, always on watch for these demonic traps, always aware when the devil's working against you. I'm not saying get paranoid, but so many of us walk around in the 3D world, not realizing there's this invisible war, these two kingdoms fighting for control of you and everyone around you. When you become aware of that, you become like the gazelle who may be going about their daily business. They may be snacking on some prairie grass. They may be making eyes at the other gazelle. They may be tending to their babies, but one eye is always on the horizon. One eye is looking for any sign that these demonic lions are circling them. Personal strength is something you have to build. Weak people choose to be weak. Strong people choose to be strong. Strength is built. Ask any bodybuilder. There's a lot of people out there that are muscle bound, but once upon a time they were 90-pound weaklings. They put in the hard work, the daily work. They go to the gym every day or every other day. They put in the hard work and the effort to build strength. If you're spiritually strong, you weren't born that way. You were born a crying baby like everyone else. You were born weak and vulnerable. But through your own exertion of energy, through your own investment in yourself, you've become strong. If you're dealing with weakness in your sex life, weakness in your thought life, weakness in your spiritual life, weakness in your financial life, weakness in your relationship, it's because you haven't put in the hard work. When we engage in laziness, when we take the easy way out, we're taking the bait of the demonic trap. And in doing so, we're putting weapons into the hands of demons, and they will beat you. They will destroy your relationships. They will destroy your mind. They will destroy your finances. They will destroy your peace. But not if you build your strength. In a future video, I'll talk about methods and ways to build your strength. One of the most powerful weapons of self-defense we have is no, right? Back to this scripture. The devil's like a roaring lion roaming to and fro, seeking whom he may devour. So draw close to God, resist the devil, and he shall flee from you. The most powerful tool you have to resist this demonic trap, the most powerful tool you have to take the weapons out of the hands of these demons is the word no. No, I won't lose my temper. No, I won't have that extra drink. No, I won't get upset, lose my emotional peace, and seek the easy way out through drugs or alcohol. No is one of the most powerful tools we have. It is the thing that sends devils running. They must flee when we resist, and every resistance starts with the word no. I hate to sound like Nancy Reagan, but just say no. It seems simple on its surface. But start with the little no's. Sometimes you wait until you're down on the ground and the demons are beating you with ball bats from left and right before you say no. And then you're just almost too weak to say no. The thing has gotten too big for you to say no to it. No starts with the little no's. No, I think I'll do the right thing. No, I don't think I'll leave work early and risk my job so that I can go out with my friends. No, I don't think I'll spend that extra money instead of paying my electric bill. No, I don't need that. Self denial is a powerful tool because the devil uses our desires, our weaknesses against us. And when you say no to the demonic, you're showing strength, you're showing power. You're showing that you have, because you have the power to resist the devil. A lot of people think that they need God to protect them. And I'm not saying you don't, but I'm saying that by the time you get into a situation where you need God to protect you, it's because you've said yes to too many things. It's because you didn't do the hard thing and just say no. That you have the power within you to resist the devil. Draw close to God. That's how you get the power to say no. And then resist. Don't take chances. That's what being vigilant and sober really means. Don't take chances. Look at the gazelle herd again. One gazelle might look out and see a patch of grass in the distance and think, that smells sweet, looks sweet, I should go over there. But wise gazelle, one that doesn't end up lunch to the lion, says, I shouldn't leave the group. That desire shouldn't outweigh my vigilance and my soberness. That I should be more concerned with my welfare, my well-being, than my desire for that to leave the herd. Which brings me to another weapon that the devil uses against us: isolation. The Bible does instruct us that we should not forsake the gathering of ourselves together. This is the basis for church. But you know, a gathering doesn't have to be in person. We gather here on this channel. It doesn't have to be church. We can gather with our family. We can gather with friends. We can find strength in numbers, just like this herd. One of the things that the devil does to people, demons do, is they isolate you. They'll use your inability to control your temper. They'll use that you're routinely falling into the trap of taking up offenses. They'll use that to isolate you. They'll use disappointment to isolate you. They'll use hurt feelings is a big one to isolate you. And I'm all about living out in the woods by yourself, but that doesn't mean I'm isolated. I have people on my channel. I have friends in faraway places that I talk to on the phone or through email. I have my sister and her family, and I have a network of friends. And try to surround yourself with the right people, right? You don't want to be found in the wrong herd, right? If everybody's faster than you, you're going to fall behind. You want to be in a herd of like-minded people, right? Which brings me to another point. Join Twitter. We can get into this network of like-minded people where we can talk freely. But I'm on Twitter now, so check in there for some of the more political things that I talk about. But isolation is one of the strongest tools the demons use to really get to you, to get inside your thinking, to get you up in your head, to get you alone without wise counsel. You know, the Bible tells us that a wise man surrounds himself with a myriad of advisors. When you become isolated, you don't have anybody else to run things past, nobody else to give you insight of things that you might be missing or be blind to. And you know, that's one of those things. Every person that does something horrific, and I'm really talking about serial killers, mass shooters, people who do really awful things, one of the main things you'll find that connects those people, no matter how different they may seem, is what their neighbors say about them. I don't know. He seemed like a nice guy. He kept to himself. He was, I never saw anybody come in and out of his house. He spent a lot of time alone. He was quiet. He seemed like a normal person. This is symptoms of people who isolate themselves. When you get isolated away from family, friends, advisors, spiritual leaders, people who can help you stay grounded, then you become fodder for demonic deception. It's one of the most powerful tools the devil uses against us, the demons use against us. And, one of the things that springs to mind as well is that when you become isolated, it's easy for the devil to sell you lies, to sell you misconceptions, to sell you things that aren't true. He can twist your thinking up. if you're not pressed into God, right? If you're not resisting the devil, if you don't recognize that that's the voice in your head. I've talked about this before. Everybody hears voices, right? You have an inner dialogue. It's not even a monologue. You cover one side and then you argue with yourself, correct? And there are also this power of the Holy Spirit that's always drawing everyone. There's these two kingdoms that are always pulling on you. So there's a devil on one shoulder and an angel on the other. And recognizing those voices is a huge part of staying clear of this demonic deception. That one of the things the devil uses against us, this primary thing that demons use against us, is deception. It's very easy to fall into deception because you think you're being rational. This is why it's important to have spiritual leaders. It's important to have people to talk to. It's important to have outside counsel, right? A myriad of counselors, a myriad of advisors. Myriad just means a whole lot. There are so many tools that demons use to attack us. Most of those tools, nearly all of those tools, come from us. We arm demons with our weaknesses. We arm demons by taking the easy way out. We arm demons by not being sober, by not being vigilant, by not pressing into God, by allowing ourselves to become isolated. There's an old saying that has to do with, it comes from addiction recovery. I think it might be an AA saying, but it's talking about self-care. Never let yourself get too tired. Never let yourself get too hungry. Never let yourself get too sleepy. Never let yourself get too isolated, too lonely. See, you have to take care of yourself. That's part of vigilance, is vigilantly taking care of yourself, maintaining your spiritual strength, your physical strength, your emotional strength, your peace. Guard it with sober vigilance, lest you give the devil a stick to beat you with. Many of you today feel beaten. Many of you today feel like the demons are so armed with so many sticks against you that you take one away and they just pick up two more. This is from your past decisions, and today is a new day. Today is the first day of the rest of your life. You can't look back. You can only react in the present with a mind for the future. Decide today not to give the devil any more sticks to beat you with. Stop taking chances with your life. Nothing wrong with taking risks, right? Take the right kind of risks. Take risks where you have a chance of winning. Don't discount the risk. Don't discount the fact that this could backfire on you, boomerang on you. Have sober vigilance. Think things through. Make conscious decisions, because like I said at the beginning of this sermon, your entire life up until now has been a result of decisions that you have made. You can't blame anyone else, not even the demons, because you gave them the stick they used to beat you with. Disarm the demons that are assigned against you by making sober, vigilant decisions, by taking care of yourself, by spending time in your thought life, by realizing when you're being deceived. Pray for discernment. Pray for wisdom. I had a reputation of being a really good dad as far as having kids that were well-behaved and well-adjusted. That comes from getting up every morning, getting down on my knees and praying, Lord, make me a wise parent. Make me a wise leader. Make me a wise preacher. I earned the title of sage through my prayers and my pursuit of wisdom, from my decision making. Now, I take chances, but to me, they're not chances because I run them past God first. They're not a risk because God showed me the proper pathway. To other people, they seem risky. It's because they have a lack of faith. If you're going to take a chance on something, take a chance on faith. If you're going to take a risk on something, risk it based on faith and knowledge that God will be there for you to support you and back you up. And don't ever do anything that separates you from God. And we talked about how we separate ourselves from God. God doesn't separate himself. We separate ourselves from God from our own risky decisions, from our own mistakes. We do this by arming the devil and giving them a stick to beat us with, because we don't make good decisions, because we're not being sober, we're not being vigilant, we're not pressing into God, we're not resisting the devil, we're not saying no. Never think you're going to get away with things. Sooner or later, the devil will pick up that stick to beat you with. So if you feel beaten today, understand this. Today is the first day of the rest of your life, and you can decide to make better decisions. You can decide right now to be sober and vigilant. You can disarm the enemy by making wise and solid decisions going into the future. Stop taking chances with your life. Stop taking the easy way out. Buckle down, put your nose to the grindstone, and do the hard work of building your life into a better place. And when you do that, you disarm the devil, and you give God every reason to bless you. So I'm going to leave you with this powerful prayer. Before I do, I want to remind you to support this channel. I'm a one-man show. I live in a cabin in the woods. I live very low, but I do need your financial support. Every time we get around a holiday, I have a drop-off in donations. People are spending money on other things. So if you have extra to spend, if you have extra liquid income, please bless this channel with as much as you can, because it's feast and famine. It ebbs and flows. I want to thank all of my faithful tithers who, through rain or shine, whether I'm producing like crazy or producing very little, they're still supporting me, and they're the reason this channel is still up and running, and they're the reason I'm not out working some kind of job, digging ditches or delivering something, because if I had to work a full-time job, I couldn't put the effort it takes to make this channel a viable thing. So thank you to all my supporters. Thank you to those who give a one-time gift or ones who contribute on a weekly or monthly basis. Thank you to all my Patreon, all my PayPal, all my Cash App, donations. And thank you for all the people who go to the trouble to write me handwritten letters and of encouragement that come to my P.O. box, along with these donations of gift cards and cash and checks. Thank you so much for your blessing. God blessed you so you could be a blessing to me, and I can be a blessing to the people out there that need to hear the truths of what I say. I hope this message resonated with you. If it did, please contribute what you can, as much as you can, because every little bit helps, even if it's just a couple of bucks. All right. I'm going to leave you with this powerful prayer of protection that you can say over yourself and your family members and your loved ones. It is so powerful. It will just knock the bat right out of the demon's hands. This will disarm demons like nothing else, because it is God's protection. And the prayer goes like this: Lord, surround us all in your ring of fire and hedge of thorns of protection. Send mighty angels of sufficient rank, authority, and number to drive the enemy from our midst. And then, Lord, pursue the demons until they have no place to flee. Drive them far away from us. Disarm the demons of their weapons, Lord God. Surround us and protect us. And then, Lord, envelop us in your peace. Give us the vigilance and the soberness to defend our peace, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen. We'll see you next time on the Sheep Pen.